Hi, and welcome to M Squared. Today, we have Mike Bloomfield from Tech and Geek as one of our co-hosts, Anthony Rapicciulo from PR Cision, and I'm Dan Ryan from the Staten Island Media Group. Today, joining us is Homer Bush of the Staten Island FerryHawks. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Welcome.
So, typically, what we do on this podcast is we collaborate, talk about branding, building a brand in a local market, and everything business-wise, family-wise, anything in between. So, we typically start out with Rap's Rant before we get into your story. So,
And now, for today's Raps Rant.
And I love the new intro.
Raps
I'm
Rant.
loving it. I gotta learn how to do that.
You don't know how to do the devil horn?
I'm not good at that.
You're not a rocker?
No, I'm a good Catholic. Not a rocker, no devil.
so we'll give music credit to David Cohen for that.
Perfect. I love it. And he actually wrote that, so thank you for that. That's important. It means a lot to me.
So what's the rap?
So for today's Raps Rant, I want to talk a little bit about branding and endorsements as it relates to sports and or small businesses. So we all know that athletics and major sports teams spend millions and billions of dollars. But there's also a new segment of endorsements and marketing called influencer marketing. And last year, that segment of marketing garnered about $16.5 billion. Wow. And now that gives small mom and pop businesses and local businesses access to big stages, big audiences. So my thought is to just riff a little bit on what you think about influencer marketing, what you think about brand marketing, and do you think if it's worth it? What do you think? What are you guys talking about?
Well, it changed, right? The platform changed. The ability to become famous overnight or go viral or be able to have somebody that you don't even know possibly walk into your bagel shop or your pizzeria, and then all of a sudden you got a line down the block, right? So it tapped into a different market, but it's smart because it followed the viewers. It followed the eyeballs, right? So you're always going to have your big brand endorsements, right? Your clothing lines, the Michael Jordan effect, the Gatorade, all that other stuff. But this really opens up to a different audience, and you could really build a personal brand off of it. So I think it's great and interesting.
It's great, but the one thing that is scary about it, and most of them don't realize, is they're basing their influential and all this endorsement on a TikTok, on Instagram. And how many influencer stories do you hear about that then they lose access to their Instagram because maybe they were hacked and they didn't have 2FA, and this viral star now just lost all their followers. And there's no number you could call for Instagram. It doesn't matter if you're the little person or the major influencer. Like that, your business could be put to a halt because that's what they are, a business. So that is a scary part of it, right?
I like the 2FA. You had
Well, if you're a
I had to
meta,
throw it in there.
if you're a meta partner, there is a hotline just in case.
only you have access to
There's
that.
no real hotline.
don't-
That's a
they don't give
fake
that to us.
hotline. That's,
But basically, influencer marketing has given access to small mom and pops who are able to now, tweet someone or send a DM to somebody. They could charge someone. They could get big exposure, the same exposure that people are getting through brands for hundreds of millions of dollars on television or other
just
more
look how-
traditional outlets.
look how much money is being spent on YouTube. You know, especially younger kids and even myself, we spoke about it. Most of my content that I absorb now is on YouTube, and it's sponsored YouTube content, right? Hey, this podcast brought to you today by Country Donuts and more.
Well,
Not really, but, that's the example of it is that it's all endorsement deals, but based on a totally different platform. It's not on TV anymore. It's still there, but it's moving and shifting.
But YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. That's a big part of it, right? And it's owned by number one. So they're always going to make sure that they're fueling that machine of theirs for best user experience.
And for ad revenue.
Right. And so, I mean, Homer, for you, when you were a kid growing up, you were a football star, right? Do you think this influencer marketing would have changed your career, that you would have maybe got ahead earlier or you would have got different visibility?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think the first hurdle would have been just getting comfortable marketing myself. I really enjoy the way the format is now, where you can just be an average Joe, but man, if you're willing to turn on a camera and speak into a mic, you can become somebody. You don't have to have this extraordinary talent like you were talking about with the Michael Jordans and Derek Jeters of the world. I used to always say that, man, everybody wants their career to be like Derek Jeters, but that's just not a reality. So
You played with Jeter.
yeah, I did.
How was that?
Oh, it was awesome, man. But you remember, he was young. He was the early stages of his career. When I went back in '04, he was full-blown superstar at that point. But and for him to continue on and have a Hall of Fame career is just amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
Being a part of that, it's amazing to be a part of it. So talk a little bit about what it's like to be a professional athlete and how that translates into being a brand, right? Because 20, 30 years ago, like you just said, it wasn't even a thought, or not if it wasn't a thought, but it wasn't a thing. But now today, professional athletes and teams have become a brand of their own with recognition, with money behind them, with all kinds of stuff. So what do you feel, how do you feel that's transitioned over the years?
You know, I really can speak from it like a former athlete, right? Because all this has come about after my career, and I wish it was taking place during my career. I probably would have been a little bit more excited about marketing myself. But that's the one thing, that's the one hurdle I am getting over. But I would say, you know, I would be engaging in the community more, restaurants, you know, doing camps and clinics. You know, it brings out the outreach in you, I believe, because you can't be an athlete and sit at home and try to increase your followers, right? You really need to get out there, shake some hands, do some baseball instructing, share what you know. And not only does it help grow your followers, but it reinforces what you know, your confidence, and people just like that. You know, they really enjoy being around people like that.
Everything you're explaining is exactly what a business is. So what you're basically saying is being a baseball player, a basketball player is no different than running a business, right? Here I am running a local business. I have to be out shaking hands. I have to be out in the community. So it's no different. Now, running into the, you know, being a part of the Yankees, right? A huge dynasty. And here you are, and you're just a small piece of a team. So back in 98, and it's hard to market yourself, right? The internet was just coming about, right? Windows 95, we're all remembering getting the AOL disc in the mail, get your unlimited trial for a couple of days. Do you think it's easier now for baseball players and athletes to brand themselves when they're a part of a big team?
Okay, yes and no. And this is a great angle here, right? So I always tell people, I was the 25th man for the New York Yankees. So now the fan base has 24 guys they get to love up. You know, there's only so much love they can throw out there. But if you're the number one man for the Kansas City Royals, then you're going to have probably a larger following. So for me, it would be tough. So the lower you are on the pedestal, it might be a little tougher. So, you know, to give you an example, one of my favorite stories is after the 98 World Series. Of course, there was a lot of appearances to be had, and Jeter came to me. He said, "Hey, Bushy," because most of the roster were veterans, and you know they had won the World Series in '96. So Jeter said, "Hey, Bushy, look at here." He said, "Man, there's going to be a lot of like $2,500, $3,000, $5,000 appearances out there. Man, jump on them because we all did them back in '96. They're all yours to have." You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those deals where you know you kind of grow as you know. The more successful you are, you grow not only as a player, but popularity as well.
Now, is this something that you're taking a look at with your son as he's an up-and-coming athlete? Are you're looking to help build the brand around him? Is that the approach you're taking?
I am. As a matter of fact, you know, I really let him do his own thing. So if you check his social media, he doesn't engage a lot, but when he does, he's a big hit. So he may put out a post, say once a month, but when he posts it, he's getting 1,000, 1,500 likes. He's trying to grow, but he doesn't want to be out there like I was talking about. You know, I don't think it's a comfort level thing yet. I don't think he's ready to, like I say, turn on the camera and just be at it each and every day or a few times a week. It's extremely difficult for him to grow in that manner. But as he continues and furthers his baseball career, the fan base gets bigger. There may be more opportunities for him. So he's going to grow because he's likable, good-looking guy, and he's uniquely athletic. He's big, fast. So his fan base is going to grow. His followers are going to grow. His marketing opportunities are going to come. But they could be a lot better if he was a little bit more engaging, if you ask me.
So what you're saying to your son right now is turn on that camera and do a post every day.
Listen, you got to get out of your comfort zone every now and then. None of us did this before, right? Like, this is something that we've inadvertently entered into through COVID and through other things, and it's a lot of it is just getting outside of your comfort zone.
I agree.
So
I'm an IT guy.
well, let's transition out of the rant for right now. Homer, why don't you tell us a little bit about your family, your upbringing, where you came from, and kind of the early years, getting into athletics and getting into sports and getting into a higher level of play.
Cool, man. I love talking about some Homer Bush. So, man, you got a while? No. So, born and raised in East St. Louis, Illinois. I have 7 siblings.
What number are you?
Number 5. I always say if there's a middle number and 8, I'm it. So, but yeah. So, growing up in the city of East St. Louis, sports was kind of the way out. Especially in the late 80s, early 90s, and so baseball was a big part of my life. But once I got into the high school ranks, I started playing some football and learned how to capitalize on that to get into college. So that was going to be my way out of East St. Louis. But so I signed on my letter of intent in football. I had a couple state records.
You say that so modestly.
Yeah.
Just a
Well,
couple.
I was trying to play. I was trying to play it like that.
Just a couple.
And so I signed my letter of intent in February. But June of that year in '91, the amateur draft happens. I was taken by the Padres in the 7th round. So from there, I venture into the minor leagues, spend 7 seasons, going from city to city, just grinding, right, trying to make it happen. Get to the majors like everybody else. Do you remember the Hideki Irabu trade?
Sure.
So I came over to New York, in the Hideki Irabu trade. So that's how I got to the Yankees. And from there, I went to spring training in '98. Man, we had that magical season, 125 games, championship. I mean, arguably probably one of the best teams ever assembled, right?
That was the city was electric then. That was the year I moved to New York.
That's why the city was electric.
But it was great, man.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, anything after that is going to be a letdown. But during the '98 season, Cashman was really cool. He was like, hey, we're going to trade you so you can go somewhere and play. We feel like, you can be an everyday player. Roger Clemens comes to New York. So I always say I contributed to like a couple more championships by helping Roger get here. So you guys are welcome for that, by the way. So I went to Toronto, played a little bit. Even though my heart may have, thought I could play every day, my body just couldn't. Playing 162 games, aggressive on the bases, speedster type guy. My body just couldn't take it. So had a couple injuries, and before I knew it, it was just I had gotten too expensive. So teams were like, "Hey, we're gonna spend that kind of money for a guy like this. We want him on the field." And during that whole time, married my high school sweetheart. We're still married today. We have 2 beautiful kids. I have a daughter who graduated from University of North Texas. She works with kids with autism. I have a son who's he's 21. He's at Grand Canyon University. He's been named one of the top prospects for the upcoming MLB draft. So, just a lot of good things happening, to the Bushes, over the years. And then I get this new opportunity with the FerryHawks. It's just been an amazing 2023. I always say 20 through 21, I can give those back. But, 22 was okay, but 23 has just been amazing.
So, well, you'll be happy to hear that the group in this room is going to be working with you to break a world record for autism acceptance coming up. Your opening weekend on April 29th, we'll have a celebration to celebrate what we did on April 19th.
That's awesome. My Eric, the team owner / president, was just telling me about that a couple of days ago, and so he's trying to get my daughter to come in. So
that's great.
I think that'll be pretty cool.
We need everybody we could get.
Literally, every number.
Every
we person
could get.
counts. But it's going to be historic. Because previously, just so you know, because I know you're not that familiar with Staten Island, one of the only records that we hold is having the world's largest landfill. So you can imagine how exciting that is to be a Staten Islander.
It is the
and say
only man-made object you could see from space on the East Coast.
Correct. So these are the things that we're proud of.
So was this your you now joining the team. Is this your first time in Staten Island? Have you been to Staten Island before? Just driving through?
I was here for
You could say you drove through. You could say it.
Okay, I drove through.
So, thank you. I got some laugh tracks now. This is great. So now that you've been in Staten Island for a few days, as you're getting situated with the team, taking you all around, what have you seen? What do you like so far about the community?
I tell you what, all the fanfare has been just amazing, right? Man, my wife was like, when you come back to Arizona, brother, are you taking out the trash? But no, it's actually been really cool. And I've been in a lot of schools. Went to a bank today. Gosh, I mean, I've been on the go, and it's been fun.
Well, we gave you a couch today.
I know.
We want you to sit, relax.
And donuts later.
And we brought you some donuts. So as you're expanding through Staten Island, right now it seems like focusing on the North Shore here, that's where the baseball field is, and great. And as you move on in the South Shore, a staple of Staten Island is country donuts.
Yeah.
So we have some Staten Island FerryHawk custom donuts there for you.
Oh, I love them.
So yeah,
That's
we brought
awesome.
those for you there. Amazing donuts, and we thank you from Eddie over at Country Donuts for donating those today.
So one of the things about community you were talking about and Mike alluded to, so you've never been here. We'll give you a little, I'm sure you've heard this, but Staten Island is a very close-knit community. We're unique, right? So sometimes we say we're like a borough unto our own. That's good and it's bad because we're crazy. But in the same respect, community engagement, doing business with each other, knowing people you do business with is extremely important. It's been one of our recurring themes actually on the show about how to get involved with the community as a business owner, how to get involved with the community as a nonprofit. So coming in, taking the reins here, how do you plan to try and get, not you personally, the brand, right? Get everybody involved, get people excited about the FerryHawks, get people coming to games, get the guys out there.
Yeah, so since I've been here the last few days, meeting with sponsorships and ticket sales, you know, one of the things I promised was that I want to get the players out into the community. You know, everybody wins. You know, they're at the point in their careers where they're going to need to market themselves to, you know, be competitive with all the talent that's out there these days. And, you know, you can't turn on social media without seeing somebody throwing 95 with a nasty cutter or hitting a 450-foot home run. If those guys are the only ones that's being seen, then, you know, it's going to be hard to make it. So they need to get out there, like I mentioned earlier, shake some hands, meet some people, just let people know, you know, what you're doing, the type of person you are, and see you engaging with people, because that's something that's huge with teams now with so much money being paid out to players. You know, they want to know what product are they getting in. And the only way for people to know is for you to show them. You know, you don't have to, you know, be embarrassed, or you don't have to be uncomfortable or feel like you're bragging when you post something positive. You know, you can do it just to let people know, you know, what's going on in your life, like I said. So that's going to be extremely important to me, you know, and I think it's a necessity when it comes to players being chosen to go to the next level.
Now, in talking about brands, you mentioned earlier, you know, I mean, when people talk about you hear Homer Bush, like that guy was fast, like speed, right? And that is one of the most unique things about your playing days, right? You were one of the fastest guys out there. That goes back to some of the records that you talked about earlier. You're going to be terribly frustrated on Staten Island when you try to drive down Highland Boulevard.
You're not getting anywhere.
You might get a ticket from one of the speed cameras.
Right.
You can't go faster than 25 miles an hour out here.
Well, to be honest, you could go 35.
If you go 36.
Once you go 36, you get the ticket in the mail.
Wow.
We got 3 this
Not
week.
you, though. Eric has something figured out for you. You won't get any tickets, he told me.
Eric will pay for them.
Eric's paying for everything. All the tickets are on the FerryHawks.
I'm glad you told me.
So have you been to any of the any restaurants out here yet?
Killsboro, we went by there the other night, and dude, crushed. We tried like 6 or 7 different things. It was really good.
And 20 or 30 different beers.
Yeah.
You can say that. You're allowed to say that.
Well, that's good. You're in for a treat, though. Once you're out here and the season's going, some of the best food in New York City is out here. So you'll have to venture out while you guys are doing your Little League tours and really try different places that are really unique to Staten Island.
Yeah, no, I got that feeling that I hate to call them mom and pop or just say small businesses. A lot of small businesses that here in Staten Island. So that's pretty cool.
It's
you know.
okay. You don't offend people on Staten Island if you say mom and pop.
Okay.
They like
You don't.
mom and pop.
Right, because that's another thing that makes us unique. It's it's generational. It's timeless. There's delis and salameries that have been owned for families for generations and generations. Have you been to Pastosa? Have you heard of Pastosa?
No.
We will take you to Pastosa.
He,
We know
he
that-
said he was in Arizona. They can't get Pastosa there.
But
We
I
could
don't know
send an
where
Andy
they took
box.
him.
No, we can't. We could send him an Andy
Oh,
box.
Yes.
Well, he's here now. We don't
We'll
have
take
to
him.
send it to him in
We'll
Arizona.
take him to Pastosa.
Where in Arizona are you?
I'm in Scottsdale.
Okay, I lived Frank Lloyd Wright in Scottsdale Road
Oh wow,
for
yeah.
many years ago. They say if you go to Arizona, if you're there for longer than 3 years, right, you're there forever. I was there for 2 years, 364 days, and came back to Staten Island. I also lived up in Cave Creek, so North 61st Street. Love Arizona. I could tell you, you're not getting Pastosa. There's one Italian deli that I would drive to the other side of the valley to get like a palio regatta, and I would pay $20 for a little container.
The
of
fact
it.
that you just said the other side of the valley concerns me.
That's how you
That's
say
what
it.
it is. It's a valley.
That's
Listen,
how you
I'm
say
sure it is.
ricotta in Staten Island. Too, by
Ricotta.
the way.
Mozzarella.
Regatta. You said
So-
it wrong.
So I climbed Camelback Mountain once
Oh, you did?
when I was a kid. We had some family friends that were out that way.
One upper.
TCBY.
I tried to climb Camelback once and thought a helicopter was going to have to come rescue me. Then that is a true story. What's
I
your
would believe
favorite type of food?
Well, being from the inner city, soul food is big part has always been a big part of my life. So, but Italian and I like Asian.
Eric
You're
told
in the
him
right
to say,
spot.
Eric told them to say Italian and Asian.
You can't walk 7 paces without an Italian restaurant or something or a deli.
Italian, you're in the right spot. I've heard, and for soul food, I think it's Shawnee's in
Shawnee's
town.
Kitchen, yeah.
I've heard is unbelievable.
Dynamite.
Brand new, right?
Yeah, very.
It's newish. It's not brand new, but I mean the food's dynamite.
I
It's
have-
not far
you-
from the stadium.
You've been there?
Yeah, it's
I
excellent.
haven't been. The pictures I've seen and what I've heard, it looks amazing.
It's not a big place, but the service is great. You feel at home. The owner comes out. She's cooking. She's talking to you. It's a good spot.
Oh,
Nice when they come
talk
out.
about branding, being out, saying hi to your customers, shaking their hands. A reoccurring theme here.
So we're going to move back from regatta. We're going to go back to we're going to try and pull it in. So what in 23, what are sort of the goals? If you had to identify 2 or 3, or even as many as you like, goals for the team, goals for you, and goals for how we're going to put this team on the map and put this stadium on the map in Staten Island.
Okay, so of course the ultimate goal is to win the championship. So when you're preparing on the off season like I am now, creating practice plans and stuff like that, and as we play games throughout the course of the season, it's extremely difficult to try to build something. Say, well, hey, I just want to win this many games. Of course you want to improve on last year, and no matter what you're doing. So if we don't win, I think winning 80 games is important. At least that tells us that we were very competitive and we just got outplayed. That would be, I would say, our next best accomplishment. But overall, if we can put an exciting product on the field, day in, day out, just imagine you come to the game, we're putting the ball in play hard, hitting some home runs, stealing bases, playing solid defense, pitchers executing game plans, pumping strikes, making nasty pitches. If we do that day in and day out, man, we're going to give some teams some fits. And, that would be a big, big picture goal. And get an opportunity to build on that for next year and the year after that and the year after that. That'd be cool. But definitely, if you ask John Katsimides, he won a championship. So I'm
Well, that's always the goal, right?
that's always the
But
goal.
it's building, like you said. It's building. It's a process.
Yeah,
Right? It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Correct?
correct. No, I agree.
Now Dan's picking up something. There we go.
Well, you guys have a pretty building that product and that brand, and the excitement is bringing people to the stadium, right? And that helps any player, right? You get a little bit of attention out there, and you feel like people are in your home. You're gonna play better.
Absolutely.
So the Eric who you were talking about earlier worked with Gary and the crew and everybody to come up with a really cool promo schedule this year. Things that are a little unique are the Lego night. There's 2 Marvel nights. There is a bacon, egg, and cheese night.
Nice.
I'm coming there at night.
Well,
be
you
there.
guys could go to the Italian Heritage Night.
Be at the Italian Heritage Night.
There's Star Wars Night. There you go.
Apparently, I'm going to be at the stadium a lot this year.
So there's a couple other cool fundraisers that are happening.
Nothing Irish?
No, St. Patrick's Day is now. The season's not
Nothing
started.
Irish.
There used
You're
to
not
be-
even Irish. What do you care?
Well, because I want to give him something.
They're trying to keep him out of the stadium.
That's true.
I appreciate that.
Every day is an excuse to drink, though, right, Dan?
I find one. But opening day is April 28th. Again, we mentioned earlier, we are working collaboratively with the FerryHawks to break a world record for autism acceptance. That's the same weekend on April 29th. But things like this, like just being able to collaborate and listen to what the community wants to get family out there, getting to this promo schedule took a lot, right? So there's so many things that happen out here behind the scenes that people aren't aware of, and hearing that you're going to be out in the community and getting some of your guys out there, it's exciting. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I absolutely think that with the promo schedule, and we've been saying this, that's what's going to get bodies into the stadium. I'm no longer an avid baseball fan, and that's just because I don't have the time.
He's not an athlete either.
I'm clearly not an athlete, but so came the opening day last year and never really came again. And sorry to say that, but here we are. And now when I look at a promo schedule like this, Superhero Day, I want to be a part of it. Star Wars Day, Lego, I want to bring my kids out to it who aren't really in the baseball yet. They're younger, but now there's a reason for me to bring them to the ballpark. And I think this is great, and it's smart branding and promotion to try to fill the stadium.
I agree.
So
One of the other... Oh, God.
I was going to say, our kids actually have a podcast as well, if you'd want to be interviewed by them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
I
better
know.
than this one.
It is better than
It's
this one.
100% better than this. They are the best.
They'll pretty much just play sound effects and ask you questions, but it's entertaining.
I was going to say, one of the things I was going to mention that Mike alluded to, but here on the island, the South Shore, the North Shore, so we were asking him questions before, and he probably doesn't even know that like there's that divide. There's like a Mason-Dixon line of like of Newdorp Lane,
And
let's call it,
it depends who you ask.
or the mall.
Right, it depends who you ask.
You
Because
got
if
to
you ask
stamp your
people
passport.
in Tottenville, they'll tell you
Right.
that line is Page Avenue.
Right.
Right.
So, Homer, the point is that there are different sections and different divides, right?
Okay.
Point being is that the schedule that you guys have created, to Dan's point, the entertainment in conjunction with the baseball and with the team has made it to that side of the island, the South Shore of Staten Island, which is where Mike and I are from. And last year there wasn't a lot. Oh, I'm sorry, Dan is there too. I apologize. But to me, you're not. You're.
I'm in Eltingville.
He lives 2 blocks from me.
Why did I think you were in Westerly?
I'm not. Because I'm Irish. That's why.
It must be. See, it's even worse. All right, so I apologize. So we're all from the South Shore, but Dan needs to know everything because of his job, and I try and know everything because of my company. But in reality, the general folks on our side didn't know anything about what was going on here. And that wasn't anybody's fault. It was for year one, building, getting the footing. But now year two, you already have a great package of stuff that people know about. So you're already a step ahead. You're already in a good position because people know and are excited and will bring families and kids here. So this is a good step in the right direction, in my opinion, as far as what the guys behind the scenes have been doing and now bringing you on board and what it's going to do. So I think you have a great season ahead of you.
Yeah, wait till you see the Little League systems out here. They're incredible.
Speaking of Little League system, I heard now I did hear about the North and the South, and I heard in the South they have some really good baseball programs down there. So looking forward to getting out, seeing some games, and learning about baseball. Because they
South
say
Shores-
Williamsport is going to go through Staten Island this year, so
Okay.
I'm excited to see.
It wasn't Great Kills Little League in the Little League World Series last year?
A couple of years ago, they won it.
They did, right?
And it was, I only know that because it was a
Was
St.
it Great
Joseph
Kills?
by the Sea pitcher that he went to St. Joe's, a guy named Bruno. He was the pitcher on that team. But I don't remember
We don't
what year
say
it was.
that name, Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno.
So my son's in Great Kills. It's a great program, you know. But it's a higher level of play than typical Little League. When you get out there, you see these facilities. It's like nothing I saw growing up in Chicago. We played on dirt fields with like a train in the background that hopefully the ball didn't hit while it was
Sandlot.
going by. It was,
But that's how it should be.
you know. But out here, these facilities are great. Everywhere from Snug to Mid Island, Great Kills, South Shore. There's really just a great level of play out here. I think you're really going to enjoy it.
And stay away from the parents because you see the parents are crazy. If you think you know crazy parents, You have no
What's
idea. You have
It's
no idea.
every parent thinks their kid's going to be the next Homer Bush.
Right. That's how it is. That's how they play.
Well, I was a parent. So
But you weren't a parent in Staten Island.
Yeah, it's totally different. Totally different.
And it's the same for every sport here in Staten Island. I remember going back to when I played hockey,
Pickup sticks.
for at
There's
least 1 year.
professional
But
pickup
I played,
sticks.
and the parents were fist fighting at the skating pavilion in the stands, fist fighting. Like the kids are down on the ice, and we're like the game stopped, and the refs are fighting. They're fist fighting up in the stands.
wow.
Yeah, welcome to Staten Island.
And that was
It's
the
a real
first.
fun
That was the
play.
first quarter.
This was like a regular season game. There was nothing to do with
Doesn't matter.
anything.
And everybody gets a trophy. I hate that. Let's not. Actually, you know what? Let's ask you. I'd love to hear your opinion on that. How do you feel about the fact that nowadays everybody gets a trophy?
Second rant of the day.
I'm actually okay with it, right?
Okay.
So for this reason alone, they practice, then they go play, but most teams, the cards are stacked against you because you have your parents who've built these power teams that's going to go around and beat up on everybody. It's not like the competition is like equally divided, and then they just go out and play. So for me, having parents get involved to the degree that they have, and you've got to keep the kids excited because baseball is a totally different monster. There's more failing than succeeding. They're long games, long hours. You can potentially play 5 or 6 games on a Sunday to try to win a championship. And why should we only, reward the people that who really hasn't built the team? They just put a team together. 2 dads got together. You take your best 5. I take my best 5. I mean, how are the average athlete supposed to compete with that? So they're going to go their whole careers and not get a trophy? So you're either going to give it to them all the time or you're only give it to them when they win. And, every community has this team or 2 or 3.
I can think of 3 in my head right now. I won't say
Right.
them.
You see what I'm saying? So
I got those parents right here. I know who they are.
so for me, I want to keep the other players motivated. And so in that sense, I'm okay with it.
All right, so it's official. Homer says everyone can get a trophy. I'm okay with it. I was against it, but if a professional athlete said it's all right, I'm all right with it, I guess. Change my dynamic right there.
So he mentioned
That's it.
you didn't really change him. He's lying.
No, listen, it means something.
He's going to
So-
be like, Homer's a bum. Yeah.
we mentioned The Sandlot. What's your favorite baseball movie?
Holy cow. Man, when it comes to movies, I'm just not with it. I couldn't name a Marvel character or movie to save my life really today, but
Well, and that's why you were the fastest player on the Yankees, and I'm a professional sitting on a couch and watch a movie guy.
but I will give you Major League.
Or falling out of a chair.
I will give you Major League as my answer, though.
There you go.
That is a great movie.
Yeah. Dude, some funny lines in that movie.
So
Yeah.
we asked you about the aspirations and the goals.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the hurdles will be in 23?
Well, it's an experienced league, so I got to make sure that the clubhouse culture is going to be on point. Make sure I get some good leaders that can help lead the younger players. Because I did mention earlier, but I'd like to get all of them, of course, to affiliated ball. But if we can get 5 or 6 guys. Usually most pitchers go. If we can get a position player or 2, that would be great. So in order for us to accomplish that, we're gonna need some veteran leadership. So it's gonna take me time to identify who my leaders are gonna be, make sure the clubhouse culture is great, and from there, just go out and play and identifying quick adjustments that need to be made. That's another hurdle that I'm looking forward to, actually.
How important do you find it to try to get some Staten Island talent on the team?
I don't find it difficult at all. It's just I just need to get in front of more Staten Island players. That's a huge goal of ours. I don't know if Eric has mentioned that up until this point. Getting a lot of local talent, especially Staten Island, talent is extremely important to us. We actually have a couple players already signed on the contract now, Mike Edelman and Christian Algretti. So I personally feel they're going to have a huge impact on our success this summer.
And on the marketing side, it's a huge way to bring people in the community because they want to come. They know people in the community. They're vested in them, and they want to see them succeed. So they're going to be here as well.
Huge plus.
A couple other promos and things that we didn't talk about. The fireworks night here. You have hands down. This has got to be the best view you've seen in any stadium, right? Any minor league stadium out there.
No doubt.
So you have New York City as the backdrop of the stadium.
Beautiful.
The firework nights out here are incredible. So throughout the weekends, primarily through June, July, August, definitely come out for the fireworks nights. They're incredible. They competitive with Macy's out there. So come check that out. Also, the Savannah Bananas are in town, right?
Yes.
So what do you think about it? So talking about how things have changed and going back to being viral and everything else. Let's talk about these guys. These guys are like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, and it's all because they were an internet sensation, right? Like they're social media at its best.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. You know, our style of play is about bringing more action into the games. And what they do is amazing. They have all these weird rules, but the game is always active. There's not a lot of, dead time. And I think that's why they're hugely successful. And, the other thing is that these guys can actually play. These guys have played a high level of baseball. It's not like these are just guys who played up into high school and they're done. These are ex-minor leaguers. Guys had big D1 careers, and they're very entertaining. They crafted a product, and they just keep getting better and better and better. So, for me, there's a movie from back in the day, the Bingo Traveling Lone Stars with like Richard Pryor, Billy D. Williams.
Look it up.
It reminds me of that. Check it out. It's
Billy D. You know who Billy D is, right?
Yeah, Star Wars.
There you go.
But don't I remind you of Billy D when you look at me?
Star
When you like
You got that smooth voice.
you like that?
So are the Savannah Bananas good baseball team? Because I'm waiting for some. Are they? Because all I know is their social media rhetoric. That's what I know. I'm not a baseball guy. I apologize. But I know them, and I know millions of people know them for what they do on social. But they are a good team, is what you're saying. They actually are. Okay.
Yeah.
And when they come, are they actually playing the FerryHawks?
That's in the works. I think if players want to, engage, they can. So I don't know the.
So it's not an official game. They almost come and put on a show.
It's
a
a show.
meet and greet.
It's
This is
definitely
their
a show.
world tour.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is their
Oh,
world
so
tour.
it's a show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I tell you what. Have you like read the rules and? Oh my gosh.
My favorite one is that if there's a foul ball and one of the fans
Yeah.
catch the ball, it counts as an out.
It counts as out, dude. It's something with the strikeout. Like on strike 3, they get to run all the way to second base before they. It's something where, oh my gosh, if there's I believe, a walk. I'm sorry, a walk. You get to the batter has to keep running, and so many players have to touch the ball before they can tag the person out. I mean, it is like
Entertaining though.
it's entertaining, very
Right.
entertaining.
Something
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
I saw a guy he had his bat on fire, and he's taking swings up there. Who else? Johnny Damon was out there taking swings with them.
I
the other
saw
day.
that. Yeah, I saw.
I don't know if that's a permanent thing, but
I don't think so.
but he was out there.
So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
This is a question we didn't even predetermine, but I'm just thinking. I know that leadership and ownership and the guys here are thinking about the investment in you and how integral you're going to be to the team, are also thinking about what we're going to do in the off season, right? So there are thoughts and things in the works to try and do things here as an entertainment hub outside of the world of baseball when the season's over.
Okay.
Do you have any ideas of what would be or what would make a good show or something that can be done here?
Man, I'm a huge little baby fan. Man, you gotta get a little
you
little
go.
baby in the house. You get a little baby in the house, man.
And that's it, sold out.
That's all the revenue they need
That's
for the
it.
rest of the year.
That's a good example. We gotta put that down. We gotta write that down. Make sure.
We'll do the promotion for that.
We'll do the promo for that. We'll sell it out.
Sure.
Yeah, concert. Yeah, it's rap concert.
But
Way to go.
we've been saying that this is a great venue to
Something's
put,
in the works,
to put
you'll see.
music.
There'll be a big music event. Here.
Can we make sure we get some punk rock here?
No, that's not a part of it.
Dude, I said, little
That's
baby.
the-
How do we land on punk rock? I said, little baby.
It's all
That's why
about
he's
me,
on that
Homer.
couch. That's why he's on that couch.
That's why we got to get to Wu-Tang night.
That's
We got to get the hometown heroes out.
Well, listen, Wu and Nas, they just announced the 2023 World Tour. You saw that?
Yeah.
It's big.
Bro,
Get them yet.
I'm in the cab the other day, and there's a car next to me, and it's bumping at anytime you need me, with the I think it was the Red Man, the remix. I was like, holy cow, man, this is New York. I'm like, dude, it was so loud. It was as if like I was in the car with this guy.
That's one of the things that we're famous for. I mean, you know Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh yeah, no
Okay,
doubt, yeah.
I'll just making sure. Otherwise, we have to ask you to leave. No.
You'll see Method Man at Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red
I'm not
Man hangs out at the mall. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just all iconic people. They're just
Well, let's
hanging
see.
out.
Method thing got into like working out, right? Isn't he like buff?
I think he boxes, lifts. He does a couple different things.
Wow.
He's got a lot of free time, so I mean, do whatever you want, right? At this point, a couple
That's right.
platinum records.
His kids went to my wife's daycare over at the Wonder Years off of Seaver.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Didn't he own a cigarette, like an e-cigarette company at one point too? Or
Oh yeah.
I could be completely wrong.
I don't know. I think he's got a cannabis line.
I would assume so. Iron Lung. Ooh, dang.
They was rocking that cannabis back in the day. It was just them and Snoop Dogg. You know?
Before it was legal. Now it's
I didn't
legal
want to
here
get
in New
into
York.
that.
When you're a celebrity, it's legal. Apparently, that's the line in the sand. You can't.
Snoop Dogg and Half Baked. That's my favorite.
Dave Chappelle.
That's a great movie.
Just thinking of you watching that
girl.
scares me.
Does it?
I can see Bloomfield feeding the horse, right? Feeding potato chips to the horse. Hungry girl.
So I know that you've been being paraded around, like you said, and you're doing all these things, which is great. So thank you for doing that, because it means a lot to the community. But there were a couple of other shows and interviews you did. I know the other day you did one with a local school or local kids group, and they did it here, I think, right?
No, I went to the schools, I think.
Oh, you went to the school. I thought there was a podcast or they did something.
Oh no, you're right.
Was
yeah,
it?
yeah.
I don't know. I saw it on social media.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that was for young kids, and so that was great of you to do that. How'd that experience go for you?
Oh, it was awesome. And, so the whole time I'm looking at this young man, and he's better at this gig than I am. And I'm thinking to myself, Homer, man, you got to get it together. But to be interviewed by the young man was awesome. I mean, he was self-composed, and, you can tell that it's something he really wants to do long term. So, and he had like 8 or 10 of his homies with him, and they were, supporting them, and it ended up. I just love the whole opportunity because I'm gonna follow that young man and see how things turn out for him in the next few years.
Yeah, don't worry. By next year, he'll be making $80 million on YouTube a year.
But you were the catalyst. Remember that. I'll remember that.
Don't you wish there was this opportunity when we were younger?
Yeah.
I used to record into a boombox, like a fake DJ and music and
Boombox.
radio show, and then play it back. Now the kids can actually just go and put it on YouTube and become famous. My kids watch Ryan. Kid makes like $80 million a year.
It's
Unboxing.
toy reviews.
Toy reviews.
And it's everything. He sells. They sell the Ryan branded toys now.
Now they do.
And
Yeah.
they're just
I got
junk.
a circle.
They're junk. It's all
Something.
plastic
Right.
junk.
Yeah, that we
wrapped
pay.
in
We
plastic.
buy it.
Plastic junk that we
Non-stop.
pay $30 for a mystery egg that my daughter.
That's it. The mystery wheel. My son
Right,
got one.
ripped
Mystery
it-
wheel. You pull
oh, yeah.
things out. Doesn't make
Yeah,
any
you get the
sense.
different toys.
And then what do you do with it once you've emptied the toys? He does nothing. He just
She
now it's
puts
it.
them
Now
in a
it's
bin.
garbage.
She puts them in a bin,
Oh yeah.
and then every once in a
You
while
throw the
takes
bin
them out.
No, you throw the bin away. There's nothing else you can do.
Talk about branding and marketing. That's a family that figured out how to brand their son, and the son appears to love what he does, so at least he's doing what he loves.
Yeah.
But this
Until the
8-year-old
behind the
kid,
scenes come out.
yeah, well,
The unedited footage.
well, if you read up the story on the family, the mother prior to them doing that used to shoplift. They didn't have money. They didn't have money to buy clothes. She was actually arrested numerous times. She would shoplift clothes. Now they have a house that's just a house where they film Ryan's toys, which is a multi-million-dollar mansion, and then they have the real house. So this son helped to make this whole family. The father, I think, was an engineer. You watched
I
the
thought you were going to say the father was like a drug addict because I just
no, I think just the mom was
Mom was a
mom was
convicted
robbing
felon.
stuff. I hope
now
and,
they're multimillionaires.
and this is alleged, I guess. You know, just saying that. I don't
We're going
want
to
us
cut this
get-
out of the show, just so you know. This is all coming
But
out.
8-year-old kid, make $80 million a year.
Wow.
So, Homer, you've been here, like you said, a couple days. Do you have any questions for us about Staten Island or the community or anything?
No, I'll tell you what. Next time we get together, I'll have some questions. But I've been well educated on Staten Island the last few days, and man, looking forward to actually experiencing Staten Island firsthand here in the next month. So
So
We're going to set it up. We're going out.
let's
So-
do it.
Do it.
I'm not scared.
Oh, no,
tickets.
we'll take you out.
All right.
Yeah, we'll take you out for sure. So tickets are on sale right now at FerryHawks.com. We're looking forward to this new season. You really got a great promo schedule up. And Homer Bush, thank you for being our guest. Thank you for coming to the island and trying to create something positive out here. We really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the season. So, again, thank you. Thanks to my co-host, Anthony Rapichulo from PR Cision, Mike Bloomfield from Techie Geek,
Thank you. Thank you.
and I'm Dan Ryan.
All right.
That's
Thanks,
a wrap.
guys.
Drop it.
This was amazing. For real.
It was hard to sit here so long, right? It's hard to sit here. Figure it out.